Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just got off a live stream on a news channel where we talked a little bit about what's going on with the banking system and stuff like that. So that's the Inspired Newsroom. If you haven't seen it yet, go hop over sometime. It's of course I'm me. I'm gonna do and report things the way I see, but it's still news oriented and fact oriented. So but that being said, tribe, we're healthy, wealthy, whole, and free. And Piper Ravel is commenting here. First comment here, and Piper says eagerly awaiting for this life to start while working on my backyard homestead here in Clarksville, Tennessee. That's really not far from us. But it's interesting that you're working on your backyard homestead. Very, very aligned with what I want to talk about today. But let me first repeat it again. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Oh my God. I mean, it's just, to me, every day is I'm between just observing, creating an excitement for what's about to happen. Larna, Johnny, Alina, tuning in from Canada. Wonderful. Australia's in the house. Wow, it's like early. Sandy, Dragon's Guardian, some wonderful seasoned tribesters here in the live chat. Cindy, good to see you. Catherine. And before I go into today's topic, just want to let you know, people have reached out to us. The Yado retreat that's happening from March 30th to April 2nd is registration is closed. We're sold out. We want to thank everyone for your interest, for signing up. And Christine and I are working on dates for the next one. So if you want to get on kind of a pre-notification list, send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net. Put Yato, Y-A-T-O, in the subject, and we'll put you on a list so you'll be the first ones to know when the new dates are announced. But this morning, I was doing a morning show on the Inspired Newsroom. I was doing a little live stream, Coffee and Truth and Locals, and then I went outside. Christine always keeps us busy with wonderful projects. And last Friday, we picked up a used teak wood table, beautiful table with chairs. It just needed some TLC, but it was structurally, perfect shape. And this is we love doing that. We love repurposing things. We love giving things a new home. And it's just, basically our whole house is kind of equipped like that with beautiful pieces that we find. And Christine is a magician with refinishing stuff and bringing it back to life. And today it was kind of a, cleaning it up, the table, and then sanding it down. And then today I was putting bee wax on it to protect it, the teak wood. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, the smell, everything. And I was sitting outside, beautiful in nature. The bird songs were just astonishing today while I was doing it and thinking about you guys. I'm thinking about you so much. I mean, I'm just full disclosure here. Thinking about you all and sitting out in nature, listening, observing, doing my work. I enjoy doing that. And a few things came to me very clearly that I wanted to share with you all. Yes, shit is about to hit the fan. Shit has hit the fan. It's been hitting the fan on many levels, but it's really going down, and we're just going to see some structural changes that we just haven't seen before. And it's probably, the war, the two world wars in the last century, I think, come to mind. It's just going to be a little different than that. But yeah, that's all coming. But I don't want to get into those details here. What this is really about for me is I was sitting outside and realizing there is a place for us. And we're kind of forced to find that place again, unless we want to go into this dystopian future, that we've talked about, and the AI and all that crap. But there's a natural place for us, and it is in nature. It's where the truth is, man. It's every time without fail. When I'm out and when I'm in nature, when I give myself permission to immerse myself, just new perspectives come up. And people have reached out over the last days on, people, friends, family, and tribe, and everybody, and say, okay, what should we do now? What's the next thing we should do? And today, while I was putting wax on the beautiful table and the chairs, I was looking at the trees around me. Some of them magnificent old trees, just absolutely beautiful. And I was just, it just came to me how the trees do it. How do they protect life in the future? Well, the number one thing that the most important thing to the tree is the roots. They're the best protected part of the tree. They are underneath the topsoil, right there. They're way underneath. It keeps the tree rooted, but it also allows it to absorb the nutrients and the water that it needs, right? And then it pulls everything up into the whole system. So the roots. And if you are an adult today, and especially if you have children, right? You are the roots. You are the elder. You are the roots of your family. If there's a generation above you, they and still alive, or two, maybe, of course, they're the roots as well. But for your children, and maybe even for your community and people in your community, you represent roots in many ways. So we need to make sure through these times that we protect the roots and that we survive. So survival is, it's the number one priority. We haven't really been used to looking at it that way. But for the tree, survival means to protect the roots, and that's what it does naturally. The second most protected thing are the seeds. Look at any fruit. The seeds are very well protected, right? I mean, look at the apple. It has all this. It has everything around it before you actually get to the seeds. And even though like Jim Gale beautifully says, I mean, you can count the seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the apple in a seed, which means there's such a potential in every seed, but still the seed is very much protected. The seed is the future. The seed is a continuation, so it's the children.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single.
And so I think what this did to me on a spiritual level is it calls me back to the roots every single time. Every time it gets too complicated, every time it gets too far away from nature, it just calls me back naturally. And another part of this realization is when you go out and you do things with your hands and you put your hands in the dirt and you touch the bark of a tree and you get dirty. It's a beautiful, that's a beautiful kind of dirty. When I go into the city, which I avoid doing that, but when I go into the city, after a few hours, I have to get back out of it. And then the first thing I do is I shower. Like it's a super duper shower, because that dirt feels nasty. But the dirt from the woods, from the soil, from the trees, it's beautiful. It feels good. Of course I take a shower now, but it feels good. And we need to do things with our hands again. We need to reconnect and also sometimes feel the soreness of our muscles when we put in some work. And when I don't know, one of my favorite things to do is chop wood, right? I mean, you know, my favorite saying, chop wood, carry water in that hole, but it's true. I love chopping wood. I love preparing firewood for the colder season. We used to live in a log home, and that was our source of heating. We had a center fireplace, a closed fireplace. It's a kind of traditional way of building it in Europe, and that fireplace was heating the whole house. But if we did not prepare enough firewood in the summer and fall, it got cold. There was nothing else to turn on. And so that's, to me, is a satisfying, beautiful work. And right now, I think we're called to return back to nature, find our place in nature in a more harmonious way. I'm saddened deeply because we live in a boom area, if you will, the greater Nashville area. I'm saddened deeply by the absolutely relentless destruction in the name of progress, in the name of building new developments. There's no plan. There's no room for nature. They cramp in as many houses as they can, not even talking about building standards. And it's the whole systems are being uprooted, displaced. We're losing it. We're rushing. We're going crazy. We're going 200 miles an hour and we're losing it. We're losing it up here. I'm not saying we can't build new houses. I'm not saying, that's not going to happen in the future, but we can do it in much better ways. Right now, it's still clear cut. This is a wet zone. Have you ever looked at the plants here? It's a wet zone. You shouldn't build here. They don't care. They just pour in the cement. They put a little bit of drainage in there and they keep going. And I think we're so called to reconnect with the spirit of nature and realize we are a part of it, not apart from it. We're a part of it. And it happens every day. My morning walks, everything, it just calls me back. And I just wanted to share this with you, that if you live in a city, or if you live in an apartment, then you still find the park, find a body of water, immerse yourself, listen. The birds are telling you things. The squirrels are talking to you. Everything in nature, when the human being arrives, and when you are vibrationally present, spiritually present in that natural space, everything reacts to you, because nature, like everything else, wants to gravitate towards the highest vibration. So the animals will pay attention to you. They'll want to communicate with you. They want your attention. They want your loving gaze, as do the plants. The plants want your loving gaze. This plant here, when I sit here long enough, it starts leaning towards me. Sometimes I can watch it grow, and it wants to be touched and loved. It wants to be looked at. And when I do it, and when I acknowledge it, it reacts to that. And it's a time to return to that. That's where the truth is. That's where we find. And that's also what I wanted to share in this message is, it's okay, get your information. I mean, for crying out loud, we're putting out videos every day, but I don't want to make it appear as if I or we are ever the source for your answers. I don't want to be that. I don't believe I have, that's my place in your life, or anyone's for that matter. For me, it's more like, okay, here's some perhaps useful information. Maybe there is a concept or something that inspires you, but then find your answers, right? And find your own connection. That's what this is all about. And nowhere better than in nature. That's where, if you listen, you'll hear it in the wind, you'll hear it in the water, you'll hear it in the leaves. You'll hear it in the animals. Everything seeks. Everything gives us. Everything gives us messages. And it has been said before. If you walk through the woods, especially where there are still natural woods, not things that were arranged and planted by other people, that God had really created the book of wisdom and there are words to be read and stories to be read in the plants. And these are things I can only convey to you by saying them, but I can't tell you how to get there other than to go into nature and immerse yourself. And it's kind of like when you are in a conversation with someone else and you give that someone else your full attention. You tune in, right? Nothing else matters more. Not your phone, not where you need to be next. Nothing else for those 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 minutes, however long that conversation takes. It's all just about that other person. And when you give that kind of attention, you don't just hear what they say, you feel it. You perceive it on a much deeper level. As a matter of fact, you can hear what they're not saying, and you can hear what they would like to say but are maybe not brave enough. You can feel their vibration. That's the kind of attention that I'm talking about. And I just had this, like, I'm having these experiences often in nature. And today I was really sitting out there, and it just all naturally came to me.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. With the money you saved, we tried electric unicycles.
I think I got it.
Okay. Doggy paddle. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
And want it to be expressed. As I said, we think about you a lot. Christine and I, on our walks, we talk about you all as extended family, as a tribe, because we see that there are very challenging times ahead of us. And we did have quite a lot of time to prepare. There's still some time to prepare spiritually, vibrationally, physically, on all levels. And we're simply inspired by the thought that we can make it through these times, maybe even thrive through these times. As odd as it might sound, because you're going to be survived by suffering, surrounded by suffering, but still, we could even thrive through these times. There's always people who thrive through at any given time. And that's kind of the inspiration here. Maybe we can co-create that together. That was all really. So go out, please go out. Whether there's still snow where you are, whether it's very warm, you have a place there. You have a natural place in nature that belongs to you. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to go and read through the comments, which I love. That's what I do after the live stream. So I'll read